Like many of you out there, day 7 came by. I was able to finally get Rathalos Blademaster. I thought he was going to be good. He's even better than I thought. This is a new clan boss god. Welcome on the Deadwoodjedi. This is a Raid Shadow Legends video. Obviously, we are looking at Rathalos Blademaster, the new login champion. I finished my 7 days, and so I thought I'd put a video together, run him in a clan boss team, and yeah, this guy puts up crazy numbers. Now, I should preface, the clan boss team I'm putting together today is probably not one you guys want to put together yourselves. That said, because it's just not affinity friendly, that said, it should work for what we're doing today. And that's what I'm excited about, to make sure that what we're, we can actually showcase something here. And it's really going to, I think, optimize the damage that we can get out of him. Now, also, I should say, this is only a 1-1 ratio team. I'm going to run the slow Emic trunk heart team. Slow beating trunk heart? That's the name I gave it. But yeah, it's basically an Emic trunk heart team where everybody's going at a 1-1 ratio except for Emic. You can bring in champions with 4-turn cooldowns and he's going to cool it down further. It's a really fun, easy team to kind of build. You just have to kind of deal with the stun, deal with affinity. Usually you have 2 DPSs. I'm making a little modification. The clan boss team I'm facing is blue affinity. I don't have to worry about anything but the stun. And I think I'm going to actually use Demitha to not only tank the stun, but also keep us affinity friendly as we go. Well, not affinity friendly, but block the damage from the stun as well. So we'll stay unkillable. I think that's how this is going to work. We're going to try and see if that's how this is going to work. I'm excited to give this a shot. So hopefully it works out really nicely for us, but we shall see as we go through. But first thing, I figured we should go over Rathalos and understand why he's so good for clan boss. He's also going to be amazing for Hydra and probably very good for any dungeon that you want to bring him into. And there's a few reasons why. He does have some things that you need to prep for it to make it really work, but he's a perfect pairing with another classic champion we love in Geomancer. So I'm going to bring those two together. We're going to do really good damage in this run. Now, real quick, his kit. A1, 50% chance up to 65% of landing decreased defense, placing it, I should say, for 2 turns. Against a boss, this debuff cannot be resisted. Now, I'm kind of, when I was first doing this, I made a little bit of mistake and I forgot. He still has to have that, it's still a 65% chance to land. So it's not 100% chance. Got to kind of keep that in mind. It won't hit every time. But when it does against a boss, it's going to land. You don't need accuracy for this champion, which is really nice. One thing where this was going to work really nicely and you don't have to worry about it landing or not, any 2-1 ratio teams where you're getting multiple attacks, chances are it's going to be up for the full fight. Any counterattack teams, right, with like a Martyr or Valkyrie or a Skull Crusher, it should stay up for the full fight as well. Ally attack is really going to help with that also, so he's going to pair really well with the champion like Barockin the Fat. That's somebody I would love to have on my account. Also would love to have in a clan boss team with him. I think they work really nicely together. His A2 here attacks one enemy. Every second use of this skill in a round will attack all enemies instead. This makes it really nice for Hydra, where basically every other attack, it's an AoE as opposed to single target. Naturally ignores 25% of the target's defense, right? But if the target's a boss, will ignore 100%. That's what's happening on clan boss here. It makes for some crazy damage numbers. So really exciting to watch that. And then the A3 here, increased crit damage and speed buff on himself for 2 turns. It's an AoE attack. This is it's a very strong hit as an AoE damage attack, especially with the crit damage boost as well. The increased speed is nice, but it's also slightly problematic. For Hydra, these buffs make him a mischief target, which is a bit annoying. I don't really want to build him with resistance, so that's something kind of got to keep in mind. For clan boss, makes speed tuning him a little trickier. However, it's not a death sentence. In some ways, it's even better, because I'm actually going to be able to run him at extremely slow speeds today because of that buff. Extremely slow speeds. I'm running him at 154 speed, which is insanely slow. What's great about that increased speed buff or whatnot is it's going to make him run, like I said, you can run him at a slower speed and still get him up to the speeds you want. It's a little bit tricky for some complex tunes because it is only a 2-turn duration. It's not like it's on him for the full fight. But in the same way that we utilize champions like Turvold, who gives himself an increased speed buff, he also gives himself an extra turn, which is even more problematic, really. But we can use them in traditional teams. So you should be able to use them in teams like a Bat Eater. You should be able to use him definitely in teams like Myth Fu, Myth Air squads. A lot of these teams, it's not going to have an impact on it, or the impact is you can build them at a slower speed, which is really nice. So that's actually a good thing right there. The passive ability is really what his kit's about, though. This is the end all be all is his passive, where he's going to do 50% more damage when a target is under HP burn. If you can keep HP burn up full fight, you do a lot of damage. Without it, it's kind of, it doesn't seem to be crazy damage numbers. So you want to keep that in mind. The HP burn is really vital to him being an excellent, like a really top tier champion. You're going to want that HP burn. He does receive less damage from it. And then every 5th skill used by this champion deals 200% more damage. A very similar skill to somebody like Jintoro, who gets multi-attacks off of the every 5th attack. But every fifth attack basically is going to deal 200% more damage. It is skill used, so that means it's not going to be triggered by counterattack. It's not going to be triggered by ally attack. At least that's how the text on it works. But it is going to be is A1, A2, A3. Any of those skills gets used, it's going to count towards that 5th hit. So you have these opportunities where you can do a lot of damage. It's more pronounced in things like Hydra than it's going to be here in Clan Boss. The truth of the matter is you have to do a lot of attacks to be able to recognize that, right? So like, let's say we're going against Clan Boss. We're going at a 1-1 ratio, 50 Clan Boss turns. That means that passive's only going to proc 10 times for us. So we're not going to get, you know, crazy amounts of usage out of it. If you go to 2-1 ratio though, or faster, you're getting 20 times of that. So it becomes that much more helpful. With things like Hydra, that's where it can be really, really nice, is on Hydra, right? Obviously. So anyway, that is a huge damage boost when it does proc, and you're going to notice that here. All right, we're going to make a quick change to the team, actually, from what I was originally going to do, because I realized the method didn't work. The stun would sometimes go to Emic and was all a big problem. I think I can make this work, though. I have Drakul here, who is bad affinity for the Clan Boss ads I have currently on my, on my account. So that should make him the stun target. He does have a block damage ability, which is actually great. It has contingencies, though. You have to have under 30% HP for it to work. So I need everybody to kind of take damage right away and then stay low damage. He also has a shield, which will heal everybody. So there's a couple little factors kind of working around here. Needless to say, I think this is going to work. And I think even better because Drakul is going to give us that increased attack buff, which is really important to maximize the damage we're going to get from Blademaster. It actually makes a big difference, especially with his A2 that ignores defense, because, decreased defense doesn't matter. What does is a little bit extra attack. It can really up the damage numbers from that skill. So I think this is really going to be able to maximize or show the maximum damage that we can produce out here. So I have it set up on full auto. We're just going to jump in and run it. And hopefully I don't run into any issues. I've had to try this a couple times. It's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge of a team to make work, but we're in it right now. And I think it's going to go okay. So yeah, I'm really very, very hopeful that this is going to work out nicely for us. And we shall see how this goes. The stun going to Drakul is a part of it. I'm expecting him to take that stun. That's actually going to turn his 3-turn cooldown of that A2 into a 4-turn cooldown, which means it will happen every time before the stun, even with the cooldown from Emic. One of the great things about Emic, he enables you to actually tank the stun and still get the skills you need off when you want them to go off. But the whole point of this isn't that. I'm going to try and keep an eye on it because I need to know. But it's more Rathalos. You saw right there, he just did 400,000 damage. That was his A2 ability. That's his A1 300,000 damage. When you're adding both increased attack and we have decreased defense and we have weaken out there and the HP burn, all these things are maximizing his damage. 260 with his A3 skill right there. This dude can slap. Now, to be fair, I built him really well, right? And you can see, ignoring all the defense, you can do a lot of damage as a result. Increased attack does a lot. 800,000 damage right there off his A1. That's that 200% multiplier we're getting from his passive ability in action. It really goes to show how much damage we can really get out of it, which I think is pretty darn remarkable, I would say. So we're going to see how this goes, how this progresses here. I'm feeling fairly confident It's still obviously, you know, we got a long way to go here before we get there. One of the big things is obviously, again, you know, making sure we can get the stun to the right champion, blocking the appropriate damage when needed. But we're hitting turn 15 where it should hit. Wow, was that 1.3 million damage? That's the kind of power that Rathalos has, which is pretty remarkable, right? That was pretty insane, I would say. Pretty insane damage-wise. Now, this is going to be interesting. Hopefully, everybody's low enough where we get block damage on everyone. The stun still goes to Drockle. I can't believe I got Drockle to actually work for this. There's a whole... I know this is the Rathalos video, and now I'm all excited about Drockle in this thing. But it does kind of work and make everything, you know, really shine here on this squad. But there we go. Yeah, we got Rathalos, we got Drockle, we've got Emic. Everybody's going pretty smooth here. And we can really see the kind of damage that we want to output. Obviously, I have to have no healing, right? Had to take off Life Drinker off all these champions. No healing anything in this, just to make sure that everything works nice and smooth for us. And I had to build Drockle with some serious defense because I needed him to kind of be the last person. I needed to make sure that he wasn't, you know, going too low too fast, right? I need to make sure that everybody had the block damage or nobody had it, was kind of the thing. Or at least he didn't have it. So here we go. This should be our A1 skill. That looks like the A2 right there. That's a nice big 570,000 damage skill with the increased attack, the decreased defense, the weaken, and the HP burn. This is why Geomancer, I think, is a great combination. He gives us the weaken and the HP burn, which are things we need. And then I have the Thalesia in there really to extend the duration of those debuffs to ensure that they're on for the full fight. Because it's very easy for some of these to fall off. Rathalos isn't consistent with that A1 with the decreased defense. It's only a 65% chance to land, and we want that to land every single time if we can. Should be the A3 coming up right. Oh, A3, yep, there you go. A3 gives himself the increased speed boost. And now this should be the fun one here, I think. Should be the fun one if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we have the A2. I think this is going to be the 200%. We're about to find out, see if I had that timing right. Boom, 1.2 million damage. There was no HP burn. Think how much more damage we would have gotten if the HP burn was still out there. Stupid Geomancer. An insane ability that he has there. I mean, that's really just a wild, wild skill that he has. Such a good champion. Such a good champion. Does so much damage. And it's just going to be a boon for everyone. Now, the crazy thing about this is I don't even think Demon Lord Clan Boss is his best spot. I think it's Hydra is where he's really going to shine, because if you can do it, and there are a lot of prerequisites, right? You want HP burn on everybody. You really want increased attack if you can have it. You also want decreased defense, weaken, all that stuff out there. But if you can do that and get all the heads killed down, he can do crazy amounts of damage in one shot. Because remember that A2, every other time he uses it, it's going to be an AoE hit. So half the time it's a single target ignore defense. The other half it's AoE ignore defense, both of which are just massive, massive numbers. So there's really some very strong potential to do some very, very crazy damage with this guy. I could easily see a lot of those like W Mecho teams where you're constantly resetting, and you know it's really good with champions like Trunda, right? I could easily see Rathalos kind of inching his way into that conversation. I'm pretty close to being able to do a team like that, but not quite. I'm missing some aspects to really make that work. But yeah, he's a really strong damage dealer. That being able to ignore defense is a massive, massive ability right there. So like, yeah, he's good. The team's really good. This is very fun to kind of watch and have it go along. You can see we're doing crazy damage. I was going to stop and put it on auto partway through, but it's a fast team. So we're only 6 minutes in the fight. We've already put up 54 million. I think we're just going to sit here and watch the full clan boss run. But yeah, he does stupid damage. I'm really excited by the way that Drockle worked. I like that. That's just a thing of my own. Real tricky champion to make work, but we did. I'm very, very excited by that. Just a throw out. I'll show you guys the stats of these champions at the end of the video, so we can kind of see you know what they are. If anybody got excited and want to manipulate some stuff. And the thing with Rathalos, he's 154 speed. You know, that increased speed buff is actually helping him in this because we can build him a lot slower, which means we can put in a ton more damage on him as we want to. We're going to be pretty close. I don't think we're going to get there, but we're going to be very close to being able to one key Kind of depends how many more big attacks we can get here. I don't think we're going to be able to do it. Only 2 more turns. Yeah, 500,000 on one of those A2 abilities is just an insane amount of damage. Honestly, just wild to me that we're able to put that out. And this is a 1-1 ratio team. We're not going super fast. It's also on my account, so like I haven't even optimized it. There are 0 masteries on Emic, just FYI. I don't know that, you know, we have hardly any masteries. Dracula's getting hardly any attacks in there anyway. Huge damage numbers. 27 million from the Blademaster, 28 from Geomancer. If you can be on par with Geomancer in an unkillable team, it's a really good damage stat, right? And here's the other thing to keep in mind. The more attacks we get, the better Blademaster is going to be as opposed to Geomancer. Geomancer's damage is scaled off the clan boss hitting him. Blademaster's damage scaled based off the amount of attacks he does. That means more of those 200% hits. More, and we're going to be keeping those debuffs up more consistently. That one time when we didn't have HP burn on, that would be on, right? Because we're getting so many more attacks, so many more opportunities to have those debuffs land. Even if we drop one occasionally, we'll be right back in there to put it right back up before it actually falls off the boss. So insane damage, insane stats. That's perfect. Let's look at the stats that I have on these guys. I think that's the perfect way to go from here. All right, so here we go. We got Emic, right? All speed sets, right? Nothing really fancy about them. 248, like 100% accuracy. I try to get that, or at crit rate. You can see 0 masteries. That's probably something I should fix at some point here. Rathalos obviously is key to this. Now, I didn't go extensive because I would like to use them in other places. I do want to put Life Drinker on them eventually, but for this team, I needed to have it off. We just went down to War Master. That's the big thing here. And you can see I do have them in lethal gear, fatal gear. Like really, I mean, I think it's a pretty good build. Almost 6,900 attack, 300 crit damage, right? I mean, pretty decent, I would say. And he slaps. He definitely slaps and hits really hard. So really good champion. I'm very happy with them. Dracul was kind of an odd build. Had him in a shield set. I don't know why I did that. Just did. 172 speed. You know, crit damage. He doesn't have any attack, so that was kind of a waste. You'll notice I built him up with defense because he does need to. Because he puts block damage on, and the clan boss will always avoid block damage if it has an option to. I needed to make sure that he didn't go under 30% HP until Emic did. And that was kind of the key. So I needed to give him a little bit more defense to make that happen. Alessia here, you can see 178 speed, decent attack, crit damage, crit rate. It's not a perfect build, but I just wanted to make sure she had all the stuff that she needed. And then Geomancer in the fast slot. This is where you would put like a Doom Priest or something. Like I said, I'll have this team linked in the description of this video if you are interested in building a team with Rathalos. I'll actually have this particular speed tune with Rathalos in it because he is in the calculator now. I'll have that link there as well as the team I base this around, that slow beating trunk heart team, which is I think just one of the finer teams out there. But yeah, Rathalos is a G. This guy is a G. He's worth building out. He's going to be a big boon to a lot of accounts. And as I said, I think his best spot isn't even clan boss. I think it's going to be for Hydra, which is insane to kind of contemplate. So anyway, I recommend you guys build him out, stack him out. I don't think lethal is actually his best set. One of the things is you might want to consider if you're trying to build him for clan boss for damage and you can make the speeds. I think reflex has a lot of potential as a set for him. I think that would be really good because that A2 skill is the big one. I mean, the crit damage bonus from the A3 is nice, but not really necessary. So if the increased speed, the difference between this build and typical is about 20 speed. So if that 20 speed isn't an issue, you might want to try reflex on him. Getting more of those A2 attacks would be pretty awesome, and also potentially give you more opportunities to get the 5 hitter off of that, which is just a huge damage boost, right? So, or it's 200%, not a 5 hitter, the 5 turner, right? The passive ability. So that's a huge. That's something that I would really consider doing. I don't know that it's necessary. I think that the lethal helps a lot with the A1 and the A3, but it's not, crucial. I really needed it more for the crit rate than anything else. Sad to say, that's the truth. But you could put Cruel on him. I think it would be really, really effective. And that would just up his attack numbers and make that A2 actually even more effective. That's one of the interesting things is when I put lethal on, what I'm sacrificing is attack from a set like Cruel or Attack or even the Fatal. Those sets add to his attack percentage. They add, you know, crit damage set would be really good. Those things would actually make his A2 do more damage because I don't have to worry about the defense. So the lethal's doing nothing for us there, actively making it worse because we're not adding more positive stats. So something to kind of keep in mind. You know, the potential of this champion, I think, is really, really intriguing. So anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. This was kind of a fun team to play with and mess around with. And yeah, that's all we got. Good luck with your Rathaloses. If you guys think of any special spots to build them or you want to see, let me know and I'll try and get to it at some point here. But that's all we got for today. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button. Until next we meet on the Deadwood Jedi.